Hi, my name is Linry, and this is how to stamp. I would like to only be referred to as senpai or sensei, and please don't call me dumbass in the comments, okay? I'm hoping this video will be a complete and utter concise video on how to stamp with all the tips and tricks that I have accumulated throughout the years of stamping. I'm going to be teaching you how to take care of your products, how to troubleshoot your issues, and how to fully stamp. But first, if you enjoy nail polish related content or someone who's just doing tomfoolery on the internet, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It'd mean oh so much, and thank you to the people who have already hit that button. So, let's start off with the beginnings. What is stamping? Stamping is a form of nail art that requires you to lift an image off a plate and place it on your nails. Now, there are a lot of haters in this community who will say that stamping is not nail art, it's lazy, it's cheating, and I would say to those people, let's calm down. Let's not gatekeep having pretty nails. And stamping is a tool to create art. Now, this is gonna sound a little bit pretentious, but was Michelangelo cheating when he used a chisel to create David? I guess he was. Okay. It's not that serious, it's nail art. Let's not gatekeep having beautiful nails, okay? It's all art, it's all fun, and stamping makes nail art more accessible to so many people. Let's embrace it, let's be okay, okay? It's fine. And stamping makes nail art available to a variety of people. Whether you're working on your freehand skill, whether you have a disability, a mobility issue, and you can't sit down for long periods of time to paint your nails, this makes it far more accessible to a vast majority of people. So I think stamping is 100% nail art. Then again, I am very biased because I'm making a video about it. But let's talk about the most important thing. This is a skill set. This is something that, to put in cringe gamer terms, you have to level up. You have to do the work to get it done. Nail stamping does not have a comparable trait for you to already have some experience in. If I can draw, I can somewhat already paint. I already have a level of that dexterity in my hands to figure out how to move a brush, because a brush and a pencil are somewhat similar. Stamping has no comparison to it, so we all start at 0. Right now, most of you are starting at 0, and it is a skill set you're gonna have to put work into. Each time you fail, you're gonna gain a little bit more XP before you level up. It is an extremely hard skill set to learn, so please do not become discouraged. I know failure makes people feel immediately down. Do not feel discouraged. You've got this. Just keep practicing. I believe in you, and you will get this down. You will get it. There is no such thing as failure. You're getting a little bit better each time. Also, I will say, sometimes you just don't click with someone's teaching style. So if you don't find my video useful, I would suggest seeking out another one on this website. There are hundreds of videos on how to stamp already out here on this website. So I would encourage you greatly, just shop around a little, watch a couple videos, and eventually you will get it down. It took me 3 different stamping videos to finally get it to click. Do not give up. You've got this. All right, pep talk done. So let's talk about the pros and cons of stamping. Pro: when you get good at stamping, it becomes a fast way to do nail art. You will be able to bust out nail arts just like that. It will be incredibly quick. Pro number 2: it makes nail art accessible to a vast majority of people. It is a fun way to create fun things on your nails. It makes nail art accessible. Cons: it is expensive. You have to buy new material, stamping plates, new polish. All these things add up to an already expensive hobby. It is expensive to get into. Second con: it takes a lot of time to learn. It took me 3 hours of stamping my first time before I even picked up half an image. It takes a long time to learn, and hopefully you'll do a lot quicker than me. All right, so let's talk about the things you will need. You will need stamping polish, stamping plates, stampers, a scraper, tape or a lint roller, and paper towels. And I will be providing links down below to the products that I have used in this video. Now let's talk about the care of your products. These are expensive things. How am I supposed to take care of them? Your stamping polish, just like normal nail polish, keep it in a cool place that does not receive direct sunlight. You want to avoid storing your nail polish in your bathroom, on windowsills. Those are terrible places to store your nail polish. Also, just avoid storing your nail polish in the state of Florida. That is a huge mistake. If you don't know why you want to avoid UV light on your nail polish, it's because UV light damages your polish. And when I say damage, it just means that it will cause the colored pigment in your polish to fade, so your colors will change a lot quicker. And you know, we buy nail polish because we like the certain colorway, and if it changes, it's a bit of a bummer. It won't make your polish expire. It's still usable, but it will change the color. Stamping plates. How do I care for them? Well, each stamping plate comes in a protective plastic seal that protects it from getting scratched in transit or manufacturing. Now, how do I take care of my stamping plates? That is simple enough. Just don't make your stamping plates kiss. I stack my stamping plates front to butt. Like a fucking child, I'm giggling. Stack them front to butt and just make sure that the metal isn't scraping up against each other. You don't have to be super careful with your stamping plates. They are metal and you don't have to just worry about them a lot. It's hard to damage one, but this helps reduce the chances of damaging them. You can also find little binders for your stamping plates and all that to help extra protect them and to make them a little bit easier to browse through. It helps protect your plates just a little bit more. Also, never ever use a metal scraper on your plates. A lot of companies will sell metal scrapers for whatever reason. It is absolutely abysmally bad for your plates, as you are now taking metal against metal and you can damage your plates. This is a plastic only zone. Do not use metal. It will damage your plates. Use plastic scrapers. We'll get into the scrapers in just a bit. Cleaning your plates is extremely easy. All it takes is a little bit of acetone, a cotton round or a cotton ball, and you just wipe away the polish. Now, I will say, some companies do not have an acetone resistant backing to their plates. A lot of stamping plates come with backing and some of it's not acetone resistant, so just be careful that you don't get acetone on the back of your plates, as acetone can eat away at the back. It's not gonna mess up your stamping plates, it's just gonna mess up the back of it. Your stamping plate will still be 100% usable, it will never damage the metal. It will just be, it'll just feel a little weird. Speaking about acetone, next is your stamper. This is an acetone-free zone. No acetone should ever touch your stamper. That is how you damage your stampers. I have seen several YouTubers who will tell you to use a little bit of acetone on these or buff them. Do not do that. That will damage your stampers. Now, when you first buy a stamper, this is something a lot of people don't mention. You have to degrease these puppies. These puppies come greasy. So what does that mean? You take your stamper and you place it down on a piece of lined paper or printer paper, and I leave my stampers overnight, so about 8 hours sitting on top of that paper. When you wake up in the morning, you're gonna find a little grease puddle under your stamper. It's gonna be a little bit gross, but it will leave your stamper sticky. So if you find your stampers are not sticky whatsoever, that it's not clinging to your finger a little bit when you press down, that means you need to degrease your stamper. This is a critical step to stamping, degreasing your stamper. Now, a lot of videos I watched on this suggest taking acetone to this or buffering your stamper to make it slightly stickier. Just degrease it first. Please try and degrease it first. The links that I'm providing down below, the stampers I use, only have to be degreased. Do not buff them. Do not acetone this. It will actually melt the plastic around your stamper and destroy these. Acetone-free zone. And to clean your stamper, all you need to do is take a bit of tape and just put it on top and it will pick up the image easy enough. Now, stampers come in several shapes and sizes. So the one I'm holding right now is a rectangle. This is my preferred stamper. I like the way it feels in my hand, and the link I'm providing down below will give you every single one of the ones I'm speaking about right now. This is just what you prefer. What is most comfortable for you to use? I find a rectangle is far more comfortable as it just feels better in my hand. The next stamper is a monocle. This is a full circle stamper. I don't like this kind of stamper. It's just, I don't like the way it feels in my hand. It's too rounded, but this might be one you prefer. Several people I watch when they stamp prefer monocles as they grab them. They like how big it is. That way they can grab it just a little bit easier. I find this a bit difficult to work with, so I tend not to grab the monocle. Then the pirate binocular. I know it has an actual name, but I think it's way funnier to call it the pirate binocular. I like these stamps all right. The reason why you never ever see them used on my channel is because I am 100% a fringed case. It is because these motherfuckers are so tall and long. I bump the lens that I use on my camera when I use them. They are just too long for me to use and film with, so I never reach for these if I am filming content. But you might find this a lot easier to use if you have mobility issues and trouble grabbing things, as this has a lot more surface area to grab onto. Just pick up all your stampers, whichever one feels best in your hand, use that one. And if you find it's not working well and you're having, like, you're dropping it a lot or you're having a hard time gripping it, switch it up. It's 100% a-okay. None of these stampers are better than the other. It's all just personal taste. Scrapers! Again, this is personal taste. Whatever feels best in your hand will work the best. I personally use an old gift card. I just prefer how it has not that much bend and it just feels good in my hand. I have giant man hands, so I need something with a lot of surface area to grab onto, and a lot of stamping brands will give you tiny itty bitty cards and I just can't grab onto them. They slip out my hand. So these itty bitty ones, they bend just a little bit too much and I can't get a full grip on them, though you might prefer this. You might prefer a tinier surface area to work with. I absolutely despise these, and the only reason why I haven't thrown it away or gotten rid of it is because it's plastic and I will feel bad if I throw it away. They also have these weird little itty bitty ones with these jut outs on them. I, again, personally hate this, but I have seen time and time again, several of my friends who stamp a lot on stream, they will use scrapers like this. I personally hate them. Again, my nails are too long, my hands are too big. I am a giant among mere tiny people, and I just can't hold on to these things for dear life. Taking care of these is 100% really easy. You just take acetone to it to clean it off. If you are learning to stamp, I would suggest cleaning your scraper every single time you use it. As you can see, my scraper is obviously not clean. It is dirty, and that's because I can tell most of the time if it was my scraper's issue. But if you are learning, I would clean it every single time. That way you never have to worry about that. You just take straight acetone to it. It's 100% fine. I haven't melted any plastic cards. It's just a quick wipe and done. Tape / a lint roller. Come on, you've got this. Store it in an area that doesn't get wet or hairy. And you'll be 100% fine. You'll see a lot of people using a lint roller to clean their stampers. I don't particularly care that much for that motive. I just genuinely enjoy tape more. Neither one is better than the other. This is just personal taste, whether you prefer tape or a lint roller to clean your stampers. And you'll need a paper towel. I have never in my life seen a more abused paper towel be better than me. Honestly, as long as I've been reusing this paper towel, which has been like a year, I have seen no detriment to my stamping. The polish dries and then you can just dry more polish on top of it. And honestly, this is going to be a teeny bit embarrassing. I need paper towel. That way I can pick up my scraper again, because I work on a silicone mat, and if I place my scraper on top of my silicone mat, I can't pick it back up. So this provides a place where I can freely have nail polish just kind of smudged on it and then I can have an easy place to pick up things again. The struggle of long nails. Hi, how are you? When I said you needed stamping polish, you might have been like, no, I don't. I don't need stamping polish. Several creators have said, I don't need stamping polish. I would say personally, those creators are doing you a major, major disservice. You need stamping polish. Stamping polish is A, designed for stamping, B, more opaque, and C, takes longer to dry. It is designed for this. Yes, you can stamp without stamping polish. It can be done. I do it all the time, but I have learned how to stamp. So I know what works and what doesn't work. If you are learning how to stamp and you try to do it with non-stamping polish, it is a fool's errand because you don't know what's going wrong in the process. You don't know if it's the polish, if it's your scraper, if it's your stamper. You don't know what is going wrong. So learning how to stamp with stamping polish will help you immensely. I understand it is a financial burden to buy stamping polish, but it will help you out greatly in the long run. And honestly, I rarely reach for non-stamping polish when I'm doing stamping. It's only when I need a very specific color that I don't already possess in a stamping polish. You will find it is 1,000 times easier to stamp with stamping polish. Again, you can learn without stamping polish, but that's like teaching your toddler how to ride a bike without training wheels. Yes, they can learn how to ride a bike without training wheels, but there's gonna be a lot more scraped knees and crying at the end if you don't put on training wheels. Stamping polish is training wheels, and it will save you a lot of heartbreak. Also, if you find your stamping polish getting thick, what you need to do is add nail polish thinner to it. For some reason, I watched a bunch of nail polish creators say, put acetone in your nail polish. I don't know what they were smoking. Never, ever put acetone in your polish. It will destroy your nail polish. If your stamping polish is getting thicker, use nail polish thinner. That is the only thing that should be going into your nail polish bottle. So to recap, polish. It provides training wheels to help you succeed. Don't put acetone in it, only nail polish thinner. It is more opaque and takes longer to dry. Scrapers. They're just plastic. Just rub them with acetone. Plates. Remove the plastic film first. Don't make them kiss. Clean them with acetone. Stampers. Degrease them. Do not put acetone on them. And pick the shape you like the most. Now we're gonna get into stamping plate brands. As I want to be 100% concise with this, I'm going to be discussing every single brand I have used. And if you are someone who watches my live streams, you know that there is a brand that I have used that I no longer use. And I don't want to talk about this drama yet again. I don't want to rehash it, but for full transparency's sake, and that way I don't mislead people and have them spend money and then regret it later, we're just going to be talking about every single brand, whether I recommend them or not, and then that's that. So we're gonna start off with the big one. Maniology. Maniology is a brand I no longer support. They make good products. Their plates are good, their polish is good. I haven't had any issues with them in the past. Their PR leaves a little bit to be desired. I'm going to tell you the tea. I'm sorry, I just don't really want to talk about it, but also I feel like I have a responsibility to people to provide all the information I know about things, and I don't. It's a very mixed taste in my mouth right now, and I just want to use my platform responsibly. So TLDR, when Roe v. Wade was overturned, Maniology just basically put out a statement that said, "Aw, shucks, well that sucks. Oh well." Not a great response. I'm going to link a video that fully breaks down their entire response and how unacceptable it was at the time, well, and in the present. And hopefully that gives you enough leanings. They have also fucked up a little bit more. After that atrocious statement, I got rid of all of my Maniology products. I gave them to a family member as I felt guilty for having them within my collection, and I wasn't using them anymore because I did not feel comfortable promoting them in any way, shape, or form. So they are no longer in my collection. I do not use them anymore. Bye-bye. The Kelly Marissa drama. Now, Kelly had a plate with Maniology, and it's not 100% clear if Kelly and Maniology signed a contract in the use of her name, but after Roe v. Wade was overturned and Maniology's statement, Kelly Marissa asked them to remove her name from that plate, and Maniology refused. Now, if Kelly Marissa signed a contract legally, they could be like, they could just say, fuck you, you signed a contract, I've got your name on this. That, I think, is an important lesson for all content creators to learn. Kelly Marissa taught us all a very valuable lesson. Make sure your contracts have a time limit and make sure you sign a contract, okay? Contracts protect the brand and you. So, if it was a limited edition thing where they only promoted it for 4 months, Kelly wouldn't have to worry about this. It's not clear if Maniology and Kelly went into a contract or not, as Kelly did not disclose that information, but a contract with an expiration date would have saved her in the end instead of a contract in perpetuity. And Maniology did eventually take down her plate, but it was only a year later after Kelly publicly called them out, saying they refused. So they did eventually take it down, but it only took a full year of Kelly requesting, hey, take it down, until she brought it to the public's attention. And here's the absolutely fucking disgusting one that, I'm sorry, I'm shaking because it makes me so angry. They released a true crime plate. That's fine, it's okay. I mean, people have mixed feelings about true crime, but Maniology released a true crime plate. That was not the issue. The issue was it used several news articles on it. And in graphic design, the first thing you learn is how to create fake newspaper articles. They come up constantly. You'll be creating newspaper articles. Well, Maniology decided to take a shortcut and use a real newspaper article. It's a little unethical, but whatever. They stole a newspaper article. But the contents of that newspaper article was an actual missing child. So they released a stamping plate that had an actual article of a missing girl on it. I cannot imagine the hurt that the family went through just having to relive probably the worst moments of their fucking lives as a child goes missing, and then a stamping plate uses it for fun little just true crime. So Maniology is dog shit as a company. And I feel very passionate to this, to the point if you have a creator code with Maniology, I will unfollow you. I will not support you in any fucking way. That is my line in the sand. Okay, but their products are good. I can't knock their products. If I received them in a blind test, I'd say this stamping polish is good, this stamping plate is good. They create good products. Also, I want to say, if you continue to use your Maniology products and all that, that's 100% fine. They already got your money. I know for a lot of people, they have hundreds of Maniology plates, and getting rid of those is just unreasonable because that's hundreds of dollars in products. I just personally could not bring myself to use them anymore. That's my piece, that's my 2 cents. And now, we continue on. MoYou London, great plates. If they continue to make them, MoYou London has decided to betray me personally and has decided they are no longer creating stamping plates. Currently, they are still selling stamping plates, but they are trying to empty out that warehouse. So MoYou London is no longer a brand that you'll be able to purchase from if you're watching this in like a year or 2. So sorry. Unless they decide to start creating plates again, that would be super awesome, MoYou London. MoYou London also is one of the only stamping plates that licenses their products, which was really fun and great because they got to really have a lot of fun stamping plates. And unfortunately, it's no more. KADS. KADS are pretty good for price per their stamping plate. I find that is a really good deal. Though KADS occasionally have some bizarre theming to their plates, as you'll pick up a Halloween plate and it will have a ladder on it and a ball, and you're just like, what does this have to do with Halloween? They also have a Fantan plate instead of a starfish one. It's a very interesting, I don't know how this is happening, and it feels a little bit weird, but KADS, pretty good plates. Mundo de Unos. Their stamping plates, meh. They are cotton ball eaters. That means when you go to clean your Mundo de Unos, you'll be sitting there and they'll leave like little shreds behind. It's easy enough to clean the little cotton ball shreds out. You just take your finger and wipe it across the plate, and then you'll just pick up the fuzz that way. But it does eat cotton balls. They are a Mexican-based brand, and they do not respect IP licensing whatsoever. So if you ever see someone do like a Twilight or a Titanic Manny, and you're like, where did you get that stamping plate? It was Mundo de Unos, and they stole those IPs. That's a very personal taste if you care about things like that. I know a lot of people do care about IP and whatnot. Mundo de Unos does not, and they will steal stuff. Also, shipping time takes forever. Forever. This is a brand that you purchase from, and then you'll see your package in 2 months. The plates, pretty decent. Cotton eaters, but they stamp well. What's Up Nails? Pretty decent plates. They are all right. I enjoy them. Some of them can be a bit basic, but they sometimes have really fun plates. And okay, I have to look at this. And lunali nail supplies. I was gifted these stamping plates for Christmas. They are the worst stamping plates I've ever fucking used. They are atrocious. They are difficult to work with. They are hard to pick up anything, and they are awful. Do not buy this brand. Do not buy this brand. So if we're talking about product quality, Maniology, good. KADS, good. MoYou London, good. Mundo de Unos, meh, a little more difficult. And lunali nail split, garbage, trash, that goes in the dumpster fire. Now, stamping polish. I have only ever tried 2 stamping polish brands, and I do not support either one of them anymore. My life. Okay. Maniology makes some good stamping polish. Don't support them anymore. Don't even have them anymore. The other stamping polish brand I use is Born Pretty. Born Pretty steals swatches. I am a staunch defender of all the swatchers in this community, and I can't abide that, so I no longer support Born Pretty. Unfortunately, they are the only stamping polish I currently own, so you're gonna be seeing them constantly. I'll say, for product quality's sake, they are good. I actually have a review of all my stamping polishes on this channel, and I have a video in the back burner of the second half of that collection that I bought, and I don't know if I'll ever release that video just because I don't feel comfortable giving them free advertisement anymore. Life's hard, man. Why do I have to have morals? This is bullshit. It's unfortunate they already got my money, and I feel stupid guilty about showing and advertising their products on this video. It's a bummer, but it is fucking what it is, I guess. Now we're getting into the mechanics of stamping. I will be providing a full list of everything I use on screen as I walk you through this process. All right, first I'm going to show you guys just a full stamp done without a breakdown. You place the polish on your plate, you swipe, pick it up, put it down. Just that easy. I'm also showing you this, that way you realize how quickly I am moving, because this is where a lot of people make a lot of mistakes with how slowly they go. Now I'm going to break it down in mechanics. Now I'm gonna break this down like a video game raid boss, so sorry if you find that cringe, and the 4 of you who understand my references, gotcha. I feel you. Phase 1, get into position. We need to set up the arena first. If you watch me live stream, or you're a part of other nail polish creators live chats, you will see me constantly saying, it's not stamping unless you forgot something. So we're gonna try and make sure we don't forget anything. All right, lay down your silicone mat, place down your paper towel, place your plate halfway onto your paper towel, place your scraper Also on your paper towel, because I do this because I can't pick it up. Decap your stamper. Nothing is more infuriating than picking up a stamp on the cap of your stamper. Don't ask me how I know. Decap your stamper, make sure your plate does not have a film on it, and take a piece of tape and put it on the side of your desk. We are ready to go. The arena, the battlefield is set up. We're ready for combat, guys. All right, time to pull the boss. If you do not set up your arena ahead of time, you will forget something. Trust me, I am Nostradamus. I have the vision of foresight. I can see into the future. I promise I will only use this power for evil. The difficulty level of phase 1 is 3 stars out of 5. You won't wipe the raid if you mess up, but everyone will know you did mess up. They'll point and laugh. Phase 2, polish. You are going to put polish on the image you wish to pick up. Now, most people will say you only have to put polish on half the image, and they are correct. You only have to put polish on half the image, but we are trying to learn here and troubleshoot your issues. So I would fully cover the entire image with polish. That way we can strike not enough polish off of the troubleshooting issue. You will always have enough polish, and that will be a thing you don't have to worry about. So for right now, while you're learning, cover the entire image in polish. The difficulty level of phase 2 is 0. I believe in you. You've got this. You could dump your entire bottle of polish on your stamping plate, and I would question your methods, but gee willikers, you will have fully covered that image in polish. Phase 3. Okay, we're starting to sweat a little, okay? Whew. Shake it out, roll your shoulders out. Let's go. This is what I mean when I say nail art is for the men. We are all men in this moment. Nail art is not for the weak. Time to man up. The name of the game here is speed. You should be able to outrun everything in this process, including your depression. You are gonna pick up your scraper, place it at a 30-degree angle, keeping pressure down with your thumb, and using your pointer and middle finger on the opposite ends to balance and to keep your scraper at that 30-degree angle. Now, this is where you will make your first mistake if you've already degreased your stamper and have removed the plastic off your plate. If you didn't, then you've already made a mistake. But this is where most people will go wrong. And it's now time to learn, what kind of scraper are you? What's your strategy here? You are going to scrape off the polish in one singular motion. Now, most of the time, this motion is going to be found in your elbow. This motion is found in your elbow. It is fully in your elbow. You are not bending or twisting your wrist in this motion. We are only doing it through our elbow. Here, I'll do it like this too, if you couldn't get perspective a little. Through the elbow, not the wrist. We don't do it with our wrist. Wrist is too flimsy for this motion. Elbow. The most effective way you scrape might not be the most comfortable to you. So to me, the most comfortable way I find to scrape polish is actually towards myself. But if you noticed in my stamping footage, and if you've ever watched me stamp live, I always swipe away because I will get a more successful pickup if I swipe away. Now you have to play with how you scrape. You have to figure out what kind of scraper are you. Are you a windshield wiper? Do you swipe sideways? Are you a get it away from me kind of swiper, swiping up? Or are you a give it to me swiper, swiping down? This is where you have to play and figure it out. This is really important. If you are struggling to pick up images or you're picking up half images, this is important to play around with to try and figure it out, as you might not be scraping down correctly. Playing with how you scrape is a great and useful tool. Even for someone who's extremely experienced in stamping, if I'm having trouble picking up an image, the first thing I will change is the way I swipe. Is the first go-to that I have. Maybe the way the polish is entering the etching is incorrect. So trying different ways will help you out. Also, pressure. Bump, 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 bada bump, bump. Are you a gentle butterfly kisser? Or do you treat your plates like they owe you over $1,000 and you just watch them get a tattoo? That's how I treat my plates. I beat them. I go angry and just, there's so much aggression when I stamp. It is just a forceful attack on my plates. Please call 911. I am abusing my stamping plates. But so many of my stamping friends, they are gentle butterfly kissers. They're just like, ha la 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 la, ha la 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 la. So gentle, so elegant, so demure, so beautiful. There are a handful of us aggressive stampers out there, and I'm one of you. You can actually hear how hard I'm pressing down on my stamping plate. It is an act of violence. And more sane people treat their products with respect. Couldn't be me. All right, scrape once, maybe 2 times, never 3, and 5 is straight out. I never scrape my plates more than once. If I need to go in for a second scrape, I just clean my plate because I know I have fucked up. I watch many people stamp, and rarely do people go back for that legendary second scrape. It just isn't very helpful. You will also find these little streaks of polish on your stamping plate if you go with one swipe. Ignore them. Ignore them. Rarely do they pick up. It's so bizarre. You'll find eventually after you get a lot more comfortable with it, you'll start to ignore these little lines because you'll realize they don't pick up. They rarely pick up. If they pick up, buy a lottery ticket, congrats. So why do you only scrape once or twice? That's 3. Because this polish is drying. The moment you swipe away, now your polish is extremely thin. Thin polish dries quicker. So by the time you go in for that second swipe, the polish is already a little bit more dry. And by that third swipe, it is probably dry and you will struggle to pick it up. Phase 3 has a difficulty level of 3.5. You still haven't wiped the raid, but you died and everyone knows that you messed up and now you need a battle res. And I am alienating so many people right now, but for like 4 of you, this joke is landing so hard. All right, phase 4, how to pick up hot chicks. Okay, this right here is where I see a vast majority of people fuck up. Okay, here we go. This is speed. Again, we're moving quick here, okay? Nothing's got you down. We're sprinting to the finish line. You need speed. You need to be quick. I'll see people finish their scrape, lean back, stretch, roll out their shoulders a little, start packing their bags, and leave for a 2-week-long vacation. Then they come back to their stamping plate, take their stamper, roll it across their plate, and then go shocked Pikachu face when it doesn't pick up. Obviously that's an exaggeration, but I watch some of you motherfuckers take a long ass time and then I'm not shocked when it doesn't pick up. I'll be screaming speed in the comments. The moment your scraper leaves your plate, you need to drop it. Ah, it's so hot. Drop it, because you now need to pick up your stamper. It is done. You need to go fast. And I know I'm probably stressing people out with how quickly they need to move, but we already watched me stamp and it takes absolutely no time whatsoever to do this. You need to be speed. Now, obviously, when you first start stamping, you're gonna go a lot slower than I am, and I'm emphasizing speed, but that's because it's probably the place where I see most people mess up with how slowly they are going. Obviously, you don't have to be as quick as I am. You can go a lot slower, but I just want to emphasize that this is where you're gonna have to put a lot of your skill points in. You're gonna have to level up your dexterity. All right, and here comes another breakdown. What kind of pickup artist are you? Do you neg your polish? Gosh, you're really cute for a purple polish. Or are you more aloof? I mean, I guess I could wear a pink polish. I mean, if you don't mind. What if I placed my Minecraft bed next to your Minecraft bed? Just kidding. But what if? I'm gonna call these the roll versus the boop. What kind of stamper are you? I'm gonna start off with the one that I would encourage you to try first, as it has a little bit more wiggle room for error. We're gonna start with the roll. You're going to take your stamper and then roll with the curvature of the stamp. The stamper has a curvature to it, and you're just gonna use that to guide you as you pick it up. This motion is found in your wrist. You roll with your wrist. It's a roll, roll, roll. Now, a lot of people find it a lot easier to do a couple practice rolls before they actually roll it out. So on your silicone mat, after you've scraped, roll, roll, roll on your mat, and then go to pick up your image with a roll. Now, we're gonna talk about the boop. The boop is a motion found in your elbow. This is a straight up, down. This is not found in the wrist. You do not wiggle this back and forth. You don't do this because you will have the tendency to move and rotate your wrist. It's an up, down with your elbow. You have to stay 100% steady, and I actually find it a lot easier when I do the boop to actually hold my wrist still as I come up and down. Okay, that was... All right. Shit. Okay, that's fine. We can do that motion on the internet. It's fine. No one will use that against me. Both techniques require you to learn a very, very important word. A word I've had to relearn my entire life. A word that defines all nail art. Genteel. Genteel? Gentle. I think I'm saying that correctly. Gentle. You have to be gentle. This is the whispers and butterfly kisses, air and a hair of nail art. You have to be gentle while you are stamping. The roll and the boop require you both to be gentle. If you see your stamper bowing out or bulging out on the sides as you're doing either the roll or the boop, you are doing it wrong. You are pressing way too hard for what this is requiring. Gentle. Kisses and butterfly wishes, whatever the fuck that means, air and a hair, whisper gently to your lover as you do this. If you see your stamper exceeding its plastic edges, you are pressing too hard. Be gentle. Gentle. Again, as a beginner, you should be rolling instead of booping. Rolling is a lot easier, though mind you, I'm making this video speaking to statistics. The average person will have an easier time rolling than booping. You, as an individual, might have an easier time booping. There's only one person that I consistently watch who does the boop over the roll. Every other streamer I watch that stamps rolls. It is just way easier, as booping has a lot more error in it, as you could just wiggle as you're trying to bring it down. Again, you, as an individual, might have an easier time booping. But as a statistical average, I would suggest everyone try rolling first. I would rank phase 4 as a 5-star difficulty. Congrats. You wiped the raid, you dropped a bomb in the middle of the raid, the logs don't lie, everyone saw you mess up. This was extremely difficult, you messed up. Sorry. Phase 4, very difficult. Now we're on to phase 5. The descent of the final boop. Now this is probably the most nerve-wracking part. Placement. You want to take your stamper and just gently boop it down onto your nail. Just a little boop. You can roll your design on. I have greater success booping down my stamps than I do rolling them down. But again, I'm speaking to the statistics. I watch several nail artists and most of them boop it down. I see one person occasionally roll it. Rolling it can lead to a bit of error. You just want to come straight up and down. If your image is bigger than your nail and you have excess dangling off the free edge of your nail, you just take a teeny bit of acetone and you fold it into your nail and fold it back. You want to kind of cap that image like you would cap a normal polish into your nail. That way it doesn't shrink or lift up at all. The acetone helps melt the nail polish to the underside of your nail and fully cap it. Cleanup with stamping polish is actually extremely easy. You can just take a piece of tape and remove the excess around your nail, and taking acetone to very thin lines of polish is extremely easy. Cleanup is always a breeze when you're stamping. Except for reverse stamping, sometimes it can get a little thick. Now, if you're having trouble transferring your design to your nail, or you're getting a partial design on your nail and the rest is staying on the stamper, these might be your issues. Number one, you waited too long. You're not moving fast enough. That's always almost statistically gonna be your issue. You are not moving fast enough. Number two, you did not use enough pressure to push it down onto your nail plate. Now, you want to create, when you press down your nail art, you want to create this white cast all the way down. You don't want to create enough pressure that you're pushing your stamper out of its plastic casing, but you do want to fully just get that white cast that is created when you press down on your nail to be fully on your nail. Now, I'm gonna say this motion right here, if you're trying to make sure you're getting the sides of your nails covered, if you're trying to get the sides of your nails covered, make sure this motion is in your finger and you're holding the stamper still. At this point, when you press it down, you want to rotate your finger around your stamper, trying to get it on. If you start to rotate your stamper, you could break your image, crack it, or warp it. It's already down, just wiggle jangle your finger around. That resolves if you're not using enough pressure. But if it's still not sticking down even when you use sufficient pressure, your issue could be, again, speed. You're waiting too long. Now, this actually has a very elegant and simple solution. And we're gonna be using this technique again when we talk about different ways to do nail art through stamping. We are gonna use a sticky base coat. I personally use Orly Bonder. So on your nail, you're gonna paint your base coat on top of your polish. I know it's very bizarre and very weird, but it will dry down clear and you won't see it. You put down any sticky base coat. Any sticky base coat will work. You place it down on your nail, wait for it to dry, then transfer your image onto your nail. Now, this also gives a lot of leeway, so you can take a little bit of a breath. Once you pick up your image, you can wait just a little bit longer as you put down your base coat, because I know this is a very stressful experience trying to be as fast as possible while learning something new as well. Now, actually, what I used to do, you don't necessarily need a base coat. I used to use Sèche V, my top coat. I would wait until my top coat partially dried and then apply my stamp. It left a lot of wonky nail arts in my wake. It wasn't the most efficient thing to do, but you know, I didn't have a sticky base coat at the time, so it worked in a pinch. I would not suggest it. I would just pick up Orly Bonder. Orly Bonder is cheap enough. Phase 5 has a difficulty level of 3. The raid didn't know you messed up, but the healers knew. They noticed. You stood in fire, and no one cares about the fucking healers. Standing in fire increases DPS. I was a mythic resto druid. I know all your fuck-ups. You just pissed me off. Now innervate me. These jokes are landing so hard for someone right now. Hi, Sunday. Yeah. Now, phase 6. Jesus, this raid was long, but we're here at the end. Phase 6, top coat, GG, you did it. Okay, now we're gonna talk about floating your top coat. Until you get the real feel for nail art, you will run the risk of smudging your nail art constantly with your top coat. How you resolve that is with floating your top coat. Meaning your brush does not touch your nail whatsoever. You gently float it on top of the polish as you gently glide it across your nail. 2 swipes, no more. You can always put on a second top coat, but if you keep reworking your polish, you will eventually smudge it. If you continue to drag your brush over your nail art, it really runs a lot of risks of smudging, as the top coat re-wets the polish and reawakens it and brings it back to life. You are Frankenstein raising the dead polish back from the dead. Yep, I got it. Did it. Now, I want you to be aware that there are top coats designated for this. They are called smudge-free top coats. Now, I do not own a smudge-free top coat, as I am what they call a cheap bitch, and I don't find them very necessary to purchase a top coat specifically for not smudging when I can just not smudge my nail art. It's just that easy, guys. I have many friends who swear by a smudge-free top coat. It relieves a lot of stress on applying a top coat. I've been tempted to buy one, but I enjoy risking it all with Sèche-V. I have a bit of a content brain right now, and if I smudge my nail art live on stream, that's just funny, you know? I do it for the lulz. It makes everyone feel better. I haven't smudged a nail art in a very long time because I have the skills to pay the bills. But if you don't have a smudge-free top coat, I would definitely wait until your polish is dry to the touch, then apply a top coat. Again, here's an instant replay of how to float. You just don't touch the brush to your nail. You are manipulating the polish, not the brush. So again, wait till your nail art is touch dry. This shouldn't take more than a minute. With how quickly stamping polish does dry once it's thinned out, it doesn't take very long. You shouldn't have to wait more than a minute to apply your top coat and float your boat. I would say phase 6 has a difficulty level of 3. Again, I'm the only one who noticed. What are you doing? What are you doing? The top coat stage is definitely one of the more stressful ones because you finished your nail art and now you have to complete it. So it just has a lot of stress. It is a fairly simple step, though it's probably one of the more stressful ones. Now, are we ready to have fun with stamping? I'm going to teach you some very common nail art techniques done with stamping. The first one being layered stamping. I despise layered stamping. They are specific plates meant to use the stamping process to build layers on top of each other. So it is just stamping over and over and over again, but you have to line up your images to get it to look 100%. Their effect is quite beautiful and impressive, but the only people I've ever seen do it successfully are the ones advertising these plates. All of these stamping friends I have never witnessed them layer stamp. It is a technique a lot of people just despise because the most difficult thing you will experience with stamping is trying to line up a stamp. It is so difficult. I find staying with a certain corner to be very helpful when you're trying to do layered stamping. Always target a certain corner. Now you can also do off-centered stamping. This creates a shadowed effect and it doesn't require you to be super accurate because you want it to be off. So you take a stamping pattern, you put it on your nail, then you take the same exact stamping pattern and offset it slightly. It creates this really cool shadowed effect or a 3D effect, and I find it's very effective and it looks absolutely stunning almost every single time. As long as you pick the correct colors, it just looks so good. Again, that is just done with pure stamping. There's nothing special to be added to this technique. You just stamp twice. Then we get into reverse stamping. My favorite form of stamping. Now, it sounds actually more difficult than normal stamping because it is reverse. It is not, it's actually way easier, and if you are a beginner, I would suggest kind of starting here, as its effect is extremely beautiful, its skill difficulty isn't that difficult, and it's a very impactful way to do nail art. And it allows you to slow down quite a bit as you're stamping. So we're just gonna pick up from the pickup stage. You have just picked up your image and now you have a clean image on your stamper. And now you just treat your stamper like a tiny coloring book. You fill it in. Wait for your stamp to dry. This should only take about a minute or two for it to fully dry on your stamper. Then you start coloring it back. Now this might fuck with your head just a little bit as you are painting backwards. So if you want to achieve highlights on your stamper, like say I want to put a highlight on this eggplant, I'm going to have to paint that first because I'm painting in layers and it is reversed. So you paint your highlights first, then your shadows, then you fill it in with your color, and there you are. Okay, so this is where language gets a little fucked up because I keep using the word paint. What you really are doing while you're reverse stamping is manipulating. You aren't using your brush like a brush. If you drag your brush bristles across your stamper, you will pick up your design. This is the risk with reverse stamping, as you could pick up your design or even smudge it underneath. Remember what I said about top coat re-wetting your polish. All polish does this. So even if the image on your stamp is dry, it is now being re-wet by the polish you're putting on top. So this is something you gotta keep up in the knowledge noggin, okay? So you're gonna float your brush across everything, manipulating the polish. I find working in little dabbing motions helps quite a bit with this process, as I'm dabbing and pulling slightly. Again, think of it as manipulating the polish, not painting, because if you start thinking that you're painting, you're gonna start dragging. You dot, dab, dab it around, trying to fill in those spots. And if you have too much polish in a certain area, I find taking a clean brush with a fine tip, dabbing it on the side of that big glob of polish, kind of try and manipulate it to its edges to fill it in, as you don't want big globs of polish on your stamper, as it takes a little bit longer to dry and it's harder to tell if it is dry. Again, do not drag your brush. I find reverse stamping to be the most relaxing form, as you can take your time, take little breaks, stretch your legs, roll out your wrist, chill for a little bit. It's not that high octane. You can just relax for a moment. Also, it's extremely easy to check how you're doing throughout the reverse stamping process. Just simply turn over your stamp and look at how it's going to look on your nail. Now, this is where you want to be careful, as you don't want to drop your stamper and then lose your image potentially to your silicone mat, but I have faith in you, you won't drop it. I've never certainly dropped a reverse stamp before. Now, how do you get this tiny little painting onto your nails? Well, remember what I said about the sticky base coat? This is where I would suggest actually having a sticky base coat, because if you use a top coat in the way I used to, this is a really good way to fuck up your reverse stamp. For the longest time, my reverse stamps always came out so janky because I was using a top coat and not a sticky base coat. Take a sticky base coat and paint your nail with it. Wait for it to dry and make sure your reverse stamp is fully dry. Now, you only should have to leave it out for about a minute or two. The more you do nail art, the more you will learn the feel, the vibe of how wet a polish is and how soon you can start to work with it. So if you make mistakes, that's fine. You're gaining XP. Remember, you're learning. I mean, it should really, realistically, only take 2 to 3 minutes for your reverse stamp to be fully dry. Look, I don't know how much paint you used, okay? I did say I was Nostradamus earlier, but, you know, some things I can't see. At this point, I can only assume, and that makes me an ass. Now, with all your polishes dry, you're gonna take your little reverse stamp. You're just going to gently push it down on your nail, making sure all of its edges make full contact with your nail, and then lift up. If your reverse stamp has risen edges, just gently pad them down. Licking your finger is unnecessary in this process, as you're not trying to manipulate it, you're just trying to pad it down a little. And again, just float that top coat on top, and you've just reverse stamped. All right, gradient stamping. Let's go. All right, this is where the real fun starts. I mean, well, it's already started. We are having so much fun right now. But this is where we get to break the rules. Remember all the rules I just taught you? Well, forget them now. No, remember them. You really should remember them. But gradient stamping breaks them all. Take 2 polishes. You can use 3, but I would suggest starting off with 2 different stamping polishes and place them side by side on the image, making the blobs kiss. Now take your scraper and hold it at a 20-degree angle. We're going lower, boys, lower. You want to be almost parallel with your stamping plate. And now gently gently. You're not wanting to remove polish at this point. Scrape, scrape, scrape. About 3 to 5 times. Breaking all the rules, like I said. 3 to 5 times. We are trying to blend the polish on the plate. Then you do one last. Bring that card up to a 30-degree angle and do one big scrape. Then you take your stamper like normal, roll it, pick it up, and then boop it right on your nail. GG, easy. You have just done a easy gradient on your nails. And then you top coat like normal. GG, easy, all done. And there you have it. How to stamp. Whew. I think this video is over 2 hours long recording at least. I had to stop and take several breaks as my foot kept cramping. If you found this video helpful and you successfully stamp thanks to this video, please tag me in your nail art. I would love to see what you guys create. I am so excited to teach people how to do this skill set. I've been asked this question so many times and I am so happy to just finally get it done. That way I can help a bunch of people gain a bunch of confidence with stamping. And remember, stamping is a skill set. Every time you fail, you get a little bit better. Stamping is figuring out what you're doing wrong. So with that mindset, you're always gonna mess up just a little bit. So you have to figure out how to troubleshoot. I'm hoping this video helped you figure out what your issues were along the way to creating successful nail art. Please do not give up on stamping. If you've already purchased the supplies, you can do this. I believe in you. You've got this. I hope you found my video helpful. Bye! I'm hoping this video will be a complete and concise... fuck my ass. Oh, my foot's cramping. Anyway, you're gonna put polish on the image that... What the fuck? You want to take your stamper and... Foot cramp! Can you say something? Want to say something? You gonna block my light? Yeah. You want to say something? Meow! Do you have anything to say? You gonna be good? Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Ugh, wet nose. Famous instead. Boop.